Hey, it's James from PopBuzz. We're backstage at Kentish Town Forum, taking back Sunday, headlining tonight with support from the one and only Mr. Frank Iero. How are you, sir?
Doing pretty good.
Good, man. Welcome back to the UK.
Thank you.
I want to start off by saying, I guess the way most interviews have started with you, we're glad you're okay. We're very glad you're okay, man.
I'm also glad.
Yeah, I'll bet, absolutely. I don't want to focus it too much. You've spoken about it loads in the press already, but I do find it interesting when you've got back on the road now. Has it taken longer for you to get back into the zone a little bit?
A little bit, definitely.
Yeah.
There was a time today where I had some press that I had to drive to, and then we were kind of stuck in traffic or whatever, and I turned to my friend Cara, who's tour managing us right now and doing merch and stuff, and I was like, it's really nice to be here. I didn't know if I would be here again.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of crazy.
Man.
And it's a beautiful day here. Like, this has been like the first day on this tour that I haven't felt like my bones were frozen inside my body. Like, it was just a nice day to be.
It's nice.
Breathing.
Appreciating the little things a little bit more.
Absolutely.
That's really nice to see.
Sometimes.
It's still on the tour. Yeah, it's still
sometimes
on the
you're
road.
like, I wish I was fucking dead.
Well, I will say as well, the fan reaction was obviously amazing. Just such an outpouring of love for you, as you would expect. Is there anything that you particularly noticed? Any messages that particularly stood out for you there?
Well, what's strange is like when everything happened, we were so far removed from anything. Like, we were stuck in the hospital for weeks, and also if the internet, like if the good internet there still isn't good,
right?
But also in the hospital there was no internet.
Okay.
So the only thing we were kind of getting was like secondhand from anybody else.
Sure.
And so we were definitely in a bubble. But like for us, it was just about getting well enough to get home. Like, we just all wanted to get home.
No, of course, understandable. Well, you made it in the end. It's good to see you here, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's talk some music. So the new album, what I found interesting is, so the new project, it's Frank Iero and the Patience.
Right.
Frank Iero and the Celebration before. Do you feel more comfortable in that kind of band setup then? I guess it's what you've known.
Yeah, I do. Even on the first record, when I did everything by myself, like, I still wanted to have it. I like that. Like, I always liked like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Like, I love that. I think that's kind of rad. And also, I knew like if I was gonna put this record out, I was gonna have to tour on it. So I was gonna bring a band.
Yeah.
It would be really weird to be up there with just a drum machine. I didn't want that.
Maybe in the future, you never know. You could do it Prince style. Just get like a synth up, all the backing tracks.
No one can do Prince style.
Well, that's true. Yeah, there is only one. What's interesting as well, you've been stretching across a lot. Parachutes is very, very different to your previous solo stuff and to the other side projects things. Do you go into the studio now with a certain style in mind, or is it just kind of come out that way a little bit?
That's a good question. Well, when making Stomach Aches, I didn't really think I was making a record. I just was writing these songs, and I needed to kind of make record of the songs, not make a record.
Right, sure.
Right? So it's just me, and I liked it being makeshift. I wanted you to know that it was just one person in the room, like they were personal, little documents.
Nice.
But when I knew I was making a follow-up and I knew people were going to hear it, I let the songs kind of dictate what they wanted to sound like. And when I started to write the songs, I was like, oh, there's no way I can do this by myself. I need I need something else. And the songs kind of, to me, begged to be pushed farther than I had ever been pushed before. So that immediately the first person that came to mind was Ross. And that scared the hell out of me.
What's that? Do you feel like then on this one, rather than songs, did you feel like you had a bit more confidence going forward to try a load of new stuff, to kind of look in those new areas?
How so?
Well, it's similar sounding record, but there is some kind of different styles on there, and it's a nice mix of styles. It's not, you go back to the MCR days, for example, you had a particular sound, or each record would have a particular theme, maybe. Whereas this, it does feel like, okay, I'm going to try a little bit of this over here, I'm going to try a little softer moment over here. Did you feel that at all? Or is that just me?
No. Well, for me, I try to channel like what's coming through. I don't like to fuck with it too much. You know what I mean? Unless it's getting in the way of the sentiment of the song. Like the song needs to sound a certain way and be a certain way, but when when structure is messing with the lyrically, that's when I really need to get in and kind of manufacture stuff. Then I have to get in and get kind of I don't know, overanalyze things. But as far as like, we need a softer song, this song, that, I don't do that at all. It's just like whatever's coming out, that's what it is.
Cool.
I do, however, put a lot of stock into track 1 and the end.
Oh, really? Bookends?
Yeah.
All right.
Always.
That's interesting.
If I don't know how it starts and I don't know how it ends, I'm crazy. I don't know where anything fits, and then I start to really panic.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So what makes a good opener then for you? And a good closer, I guess.
It's like first love. You just know.
You just know. It just clicks.
know. Like when I wrote World Destroyer, I was like,
oh, there it is.
Thank God, finally, this is the beginning. I know how it starts, and I know how our sets are going to start too.
Right, there you go.
That was it.
That's an important thing as well. Do you think about how the live set's going to flow when you're putting the actual record together as well?
I do.
Right.
I actually I think about it a lot, because if a song is not fun to play live, then to live in that for 2 years, a year and a half,
That's
after,
tough.
it's like, that sucks.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to be really unhappy.
No, fair play. That's worth thinking about, always worth thinking about. It's very personal as well. I mean, I guess your stuff always has been to an extent, but something like Dear Percocet, did you feel like you had a bit more of a sense of freedom now to talk about all these kind of things? Is it kind of been building over time?
Yeah. All right. So when I knew that I was going to I was making a record that people were definitely going to hear, and this was a record,
Right.
I thought, all right, well, I could either take the easy road out and give people what I think they want to hear, and kind of veil things so that I'm not exposing myself too much, or I can be as brutally honest and make the record I've always wanted to make and just put it all out there,
Nice.
for good or for worse, So it was like a put up or shut up kind of thing, and I decided it'd be a waste of time to fake it. So
No, fair enough.
I'm gonna start now.
Hey, makes sense. Hey, no, it works. It really, really works. I want to talk a little bit about the MCR days, if that's all right, because I interviewed one of the music guys from Tumblr recently, actually.
Okay.
And he was one of the heads of music, and we were talking about important acts for Tumblr, and it was all the kind of modern acts. Frank Ocean was a big name that came up. Beyonce, 21 Pilots, even like lots of kind of bands with stuff. But he said the one that is up there every week, pretty much, in the fandom metrics, and like most talked about on Tumblr, is MCR still to this day.
Is that like a?
It's like showing who are the most talked about music acts across all of Tumblr, and that community is still so.
Oh, wow.
Why do you think it is that it's even to this day people are discovering it anew now?
I don't know.
I know it's so hard to analyze.
No,
isn't it?
it's funny actually. Like I was having a conversation with Adam actually. We've been talking about this. I hear them play songs, on this tour that I know are older than some of the kids that are singing along with them.
Right.
Like, that's fucking awesome.
That's
like
interesting.
it's transcended.
Yeah.
They've found out about these songs through maybe older siblings or I don't know. I don't know how they found out about it. And that's what I'm getting to is like there'll be young kids that'll come to shows and they're just finding out about MCR.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
like, that's great.
That
That's
is great.
crazy.
It's so nice. It's enjoyed in that way. And what's interesting as well is the phrase emo. I guess it's no longer a dirty word in a way. Do you know what I mean? I know you guys like made a point of saying we don't want to be tagged with this, and appropriately, you're musicians, you put it out, there it is. But it's quite interesting that the acts that were called emo at the time, Panic, Fall Out Boy, they're all trying new areas, and no one seems to think of it as a negative. I mean, do you still feel negatively about that kind of tag, or is it just in the past, it doesn't really matter anymore?
Well, here's the thing, right? I think that when it was being thrown around, I feel like it was meant to be a derogatory term.
Right.
And that's why, like sometimes it's just in the inflection of things. Like when you're friends, you go like, oh, you're an asshole, and then it's like,
Yeah.
But if someone calls you a fucking asshole, you're like, yo,
It's a term.
It's different. And I think that there was a lot of shade being thrown on that, and not so much that it matters what people think of you, but like the fact that we felt like we were being discounted.
Right.
That's what you don't want as an artist. Just like, don't discount us for like lump us into something. Like, listen to the music and then make your own decisions about it.
No, of course.
But as far as like the actual term, like where it started and the bands that it started for, like the bands that influenced me and all my friends, like The Cure, kind of Jazz, and all these like J Tree bands, stuff like that. Like, yeah, like that shit's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I was saying this today too. Like, I feel like there's a lot of younger bands that are emo as fuck.
Yeah, it is back. The scene is back hard, man. It really is.
And it doesn't get really thrown around that much, and that's cool because I feel like these bands have something to say and they're not being discounted. And I think that's awesome. So like, I don't know, whatever.
No, it's nice. No, it is nice. It's almost like that genre thing doesn't really matter anymore. It's like, if you want to make a particular style, just do it. It's like, I feel like people are experimenting.
I feel like people should dig deep and really write from the heart without fear of being, called a derogatory term.
Amazing. Yeah, sounds so obvious, doesn't it? But it's people forget it. It's an amazing thing. In terms of MCR, there was so much hype last year as well, because obviously the reissue of Black Parade came out. Were you surprised by the internet broke the day that teaser video came out? I mean, were you taken aback by that at all?
I was really busy.
Okay. You got other stuff to worry about.
No, I released the DS record, I think, like maybe a week after. I think I was on tour. Like,
it's a busy time.
Yeah, I'm really busy.
No, fair enough. Well, I think the other question people have been asking is there going to be more reissues in that vein? I mean, I personally would love to see a Three Cheers reissue and stuff like that. Is that something you guys talk about? Think about the kind of legacy releases? No. Okay.
No. We had a conversation about. We have a group chat, and we were talking about James was making pretzels and a baked ham.
Right.
And then I said that, and somebody in the group chat, I forget who it was like, I wish that I could get that delivered right now. And I was like, ham damage would be the delivery. If I had a 24-hour ham delivery service, not that I would because I don't eat ham, but if I did, I would call it ham damage.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a really good name for it.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So that's the shit that we just
So that's what's happening now. So all these years later, it's now going to evolve from the band into some ham-based delivery service.
Probably, yeah. Well, that's where the money is.
I kind of want to see it now. This is it. I want to see. It would be good. But you guys are in contact, then. That's nice. I mean, obviously you're all buddies, but I saw a really nice thing. I know you were elsewhere at the time, but the other guys got together and met up with a fan. It was with the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Oh yeah.
That was really, really cute. I mean, did the discussion like that kind of come about? Did they approach you guys and try and get it all working together on schedule?
Yeah, I think. We've done a lot with Make-A-Wish and stuff like that. I think that came through to our manager Stacy.
Yeah, great.
Which is awesome. I wish I could have been there. But
that's such a nice thing. But when was the last time you guys all kind of hung out like that? Then I suppose has it been a while? You're also busy.
Well, they live on the West Coast,
sure.
So whenever I tour out there. Basically.
Amazing. And were you nervous playing them the solo stuff for the first time? I mean, is there? No, that's all. It's just like, here it is. Boom. Fair enough. Yeah, you must have been listening, I guess, obviously to all the other guys' solo stuff as well.
Yeah.
Do you guys compare notes ever or anything like that?
Yeah, well, just send stuff and then like oh man, Ray's record's so good, so good. He always wrote so cinematically,
Yeah. That's an interesting observation, actually. Yeah.
He's amazing. Yeah.
Nice.
Really, really good.
That's good to hear. Well, it's very exciting you're back with your new music anyway.
Thanks.
And it's nice to see you, and we're glad you're here, and we're glad you're well and on tour. Any plans for a solo tour as well coming up? Any solo headline shows going to be doing it?
Oh, yeah, can't say that.
Just nod or shake your head, it's fine. It'll be absolutely fine. But lovely to see you. Frank Iero, everybody.
Pleasure.